It's a new episode of the Spirit Ride Option Podcast. Jason Aponte, there's rumors at the 49ers quarterback position. I don't know if you've heard this news. We're going to talk about it here on a new Spirit Ride Option Podcast starting right about now.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go, Niners.
Let's go, Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Oh my goodness, we are live. It is a new episode of the Sprint Ride Option Podcast. It has been a minute, Jason Aponte. I want to know how you are doing on this beautiful Monday evening, afternoon, wherever you may be, whatever it may be. How are you doing today?
I'll be honest with you, Andrew. I miss you. Haven't seen you in a while. I'm happy to see you. Haven't really spoken since opening day, all of those things. That's fine. We don't have to get into that.
Oh, we can.
No, it's all right. But really, I feel a bit distracted today on this Monday. And a little bit of that has to do with the fact that the New York Yankees are playing the Cleveland Guardians right now.
Okay.
And also, I'm trying to figure out why Brock Lesnar did what he did to Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw, as somehow I am all the way back into Monday Night Raw and wrestling all of a sudden, which should make you smile.
It really does. The amount of wrestling texts I got last Monday night for Monday Night Raw. I in our group chat, I tend to throw random wrestling things, and then I'm like, maybe this will stick with the group. And Jason was really into responding to me last week, and I'm like, what's going on here? And Jason's all in on WWE. I'm excited, as I was telling you, I'm excited to introduce you to the Codyverse. That's Cody Rhodes' personal universe. It's exciting. Brock Lesnar is a part of it now. I guess he's the, dare I say, the Thanos of the Codyverse right now. But yeah, I don't know where it's going. I was very excited to see what Brock Lesnar looked like in tag team action last week. And what an idiot I am to think that Brock Lesnar was going to wrestle on Monday Night Raw. What a bozo I am.
You know what's worse is I was flipping back and forth waiting for that to come on. And I'm like, I was like, if memory serves me correct, as a youngster watching WWE, the big match after, first of all, the Raw after WrestleMania, it kind of signifies the new year, right? Like, it's almost like you're just starting over again, right? And I always know that that's the biggest one because there's the fallout of what happens at WrestleMania that goes on at Raw. So I'm there like an idiot going back and forth trying to figure out when this match is going to start. And then as soon as it starts, Brock Lesnar is just beating the living hell out of Cody Rhodes, and my tribal chief walks out and just leaves. So,
dude,
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I have to say, I am very much invested again, but I do want to say everybody needs to acknowledge one thing.
Is that our tribal chief?
Our tribal chief.
I had the thought, I was thinking about this last week, is WrestleMania, and we don't need to talk wrestling much longer. Roman Reigns' WWE title reign, current WWE title reign, is longer than the history of our friendship. Think about it like that. He won the title, I think, August 2020 in a triple threat match against Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. In fact, I remember that. Is just horrifying. I watched too much wrestling, Jason. And this podcast didn't start until September 2020. So, in case you're wondering how long we've been together, Roman Reigns' entire WWE Universal Champion run. I'm happy we're at a point where we're opening with wrestling and not just burying it at the end, but that's okay. We're excited. Jason, I cannot think of anything more dramatic than professional wrestling, maybe other than 49ers rumors at the quarterback position. And it almost felt like it was too quiet for a few weeks, for a few days there. We got that weird stamp of approval of Brock Purdy from John Lynch. We got the stamp of approval of Trey Lance from Kyle Shanahan. And it was like, wow, this, not weird Niners rumors coming out about quarterback positions. And then a week later, all hell broke loose. Mike Florio talking about Kirk Cousins, the guy on Fox Sports, and I forget his name. I'll get his name here in a second. Make sure you get credit. Talking Aaron Rodgers. And we are all the way back in quarterback rumors. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I'll be the one to say it. I miss it. We didn't have it for 3 whole weeks there. When Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Raiders, we're like, we're not talking about quarterbacks anymore. We're good. No, I'm back. I'm re-energized. I might be talking McCorkle Jones later. That's how excited I am about these rumors being back. So let's just go in like chronological order. Let's start with the Kirk Cousins one because that was the first one that came out, and that one is the least surprising rumor at this point. I think the thing we've learned with the Kyle Shanahan era is we're forever just going to be tied to Kirk Cousins to a point where I'm looking at contracts. I'm saying, boy, he's a free agent next offseason. So let's see what happens there. So what was your initial Jason Aponte reaction on the Kirk Cousins? I don't want to call new rumors, but like new rumors of Kirk Cousins.
Again, to give a quick thought, because I've been giving my thoughts on this like all week. It's as long as there is still the Kyle and Kirk love affair, as long as the 49ers don't have an able-bodied, penciled-in starter that's not named Sam Darnold, as long as Kirk Cousins has a chance, as he's being a free agent next year, these rumors are going to persist. Now, when will they stop persisting? When the 49ers finally have their franchise quarterback.
There we go. That's what I was going to say.
So, I mean, look, again, you're not hearing about Kirk Cousins going to the Buffalo Bills. You're not hearing about him going to the Kansas City Chiefs. You're not. And again, there's the connection between Kyle and Kirk and all of those things. One more thing is the timeline kind of adds up because this is kind of what was being talked about. And this was an old report from the Combine. A lot of people were talking about this while we were down there in Indy, was nobody really knew what was going on with Brock Purdy. You have the John Lynch comments at the press conference in which he said, we don't know until we get in there. I think there was still a small bit of a chance that there was Tommy John on the table. And I think the 49ers were kind of hedging their bet just in case. And also everyone knows the infatuation. So again, you have to look at the names, right? When you look at the names, you have to look at them and say, which one of these teams fits? And as long as the 49ers don't have a franchise quarterback, they're the team that's always going to be in the shadows of any of these names. So I wrote that off immediately when you found out that Brock Purdy was going to be back in 6 months. But at the time when Mike Florio reported it, which it wasn't new, it was just resurfaced. At the time at the Combine, I know he's not popular around these parts. It's still held to the timeline.
Yeah, and I thought the timing of the report was interesting, and then seeing that, hey, this is the Combine. I don't know what the purpose is of repurposing it in that moment, unless there is real smoke to the fire. I was at a point in my head where I'm like, you know what? It's honestly inevitable. Might as well just make the trade because it's going to happen, right? Like he's going to hit because like this is the timeline I'm mentally on, barring a trade for a guy who plays in Green Bay. We're going to talk about here in a minute. Is we're going to have a season of Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. Whatever may happen, and maybe they win a Super Bowl, maybe they don't. I don't know, but I have a feeling the conversation as the season goes further along, we're going to hear more Kirk Cousins contracts coming up, sort of deal. And it's almost like, man, I kind of and this was my thought the night the report came out. And I even texted KP and I said, hey, I want to write this article about how it might let's just F it, rip the Band-Aid off, make this trade. Let's just get it done with, right? I like it's so inevitable at this point. It's like Roman Reigns winning a main event of WrestleMania. It's going to happen. So do it now. Do it now. And then obviously the next day happens with another quarterback rumor who I would much rather have than Kirk Cousins. So I kind of threw that article idea out of the window. But that's kind of where I was. I've said it so many times before on this podcast, when we talk about other quarterbacks, it has nothing to do with what we think of Trey Lance or Brock Purdy or Sam Darnold now. It has everything to do with what does Kirk Cousins do to the Niners' Super Bowl potential? And I think, respectfully to Kirk Cousins, or not respectfully to Kirk Cousins, respectfully to Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, those chances improve. And I think at this point, Niner fans should just be like, who cares who's at quarterback? This isn't I'd rather win with Jimmy than lose with Brady take. It's just more
I understand that reference.
It's just more of I just want to win a Super Bowl, man. And if that means doing what the Rams are doing right now in 3 years, I don't care. I really don't care at this point. So if Kirk Cousins gets the Niners close to a Super Bowl, pull that trigger. If Aaron Rodgers sure as hell does get you closer to a Super Bowl, pull that trigger. Do what you can. If you think Trey Lance is the guy, run with it. Just do what you can to win a Super Bowl at this point. That's where I'm at.
And I think that's where they're at with it. That's why they're so impatient with Trey Lance. I mean,
Yep.
I think you just have to look at the actions more than anything. If you don't believe that this team is desperate to find a way to finally get this done, then why on earth are they not sticking with Trey Lance during the bumps and bruises? I think you can tell a lot by what's going on, by their actions, by who they're flirting with, by what they're telling you, all of these things, right? Like if this team was so confident in, hey, we're going to be great for year after year after year after year, I think you would be one, naive, two, you would be not understanding how the NFL works. And I think the 49ers are neither of those things. I think they understand how the NFL works, and I think they're not naive. But that's the problem. If there was a world where, I heard this comment from Kyle Shanahan at the owners' meetings kind of like riled me up. Well, there's a reason Sam Darnold was taken at number 3. What is the reason Trey Lance was taken at number 3? My goodness, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why are you so confident in a guy who's been bad for so long when you don't even know what you have with your 3rd pick? So if this team didn't realize that they need to get this done, then they would have given Trey Lance every single rep. They would just turn this thing back over to him, regardless of how, Brock Purdy played or anything like that. Like, for me, again, this team understands that they need to get this done. That's it.
Yeah, and I think that's where these rumors come from. It's obviously an uncomfortable situation the Niners feel at their quarterback position. No matter what you think on Trey Lance or not, I think these rumors are very telling for what it is, especially with the newest one. I kind of wish we could spend more time on Kirk Cousins, but like there's this other rumor that came out literally the next day. And I got the name this time. Craig Carton said on his show on Fox Sports 1 about how there might be another team that's called in regarding Aaron Rodgers. This Aaron Rodgers to the Jets trade hasn't happened yet. And that team happens to be the team that Jason Aponte and I talk about, the San Francisco 49ers. And Carton, I think what was interesting with Carton is he even kind of threw out what an offer might have been. I don't know. I don't know if there's an offer. I don't know if this is just him seeing what the Niners draft pick situation is and just kind of sticking an idea out there. But he mentioned the idea of multiple 3rd round picks in this draft, which the Niners have 3, and a 1st round pick in next year's draft. I don't know what to do with this one because I want to believe it. I really do. And we are lucky enough to be in a group chat with the famous Sour Death Sam. And Sam texted yesterday saying, hey, I'm kind of in on this Aaron Rodgers idea. Like I'm getting my hopes up on it. And that's where I want to be. I want to be like, yo, this Aaron Rodgers thing is real. But in the back of my head, it's very much that it's smokescreen season, baby. It's the Packers know the Jets are where Aaron Rodgers want to go. And the Jets obviously haven't met the Packers offer. They haven't met what they wanted because we're here on March 10th. 3 weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers went on a podcast and said, I want to go to the Jets. Nothing's happened. So obviously something's not right. I hope, God, I so badly want the Niners to slide in and make this work if this is true. But this is also a situation where, yeah, as I said, the Packers are probably just trying to get the Jets to up that offer. But Jason, lie to me and tell me Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Niners, please.
I hate to be a wet blanket, Andrew. And what I want to do is I want to break this down to the person that we're talking about. So Craig Carton is an NY guy. I don't listen to a lot of sports radio because I don't follow sports teams. And less of all do I want to hear the New York fan base talk about the New York Yankees because they are absolutely baffling in their takes and they are irrational. So I don't listen to sports radio, but
yes,
I do know Craig Carton. And he's not connected to the Jets, the Nets, the Knicks, the Yankees, the Liberty, the Islanders. He has no ties to any of that, right? Less does he have ties to the Packers. So what does this mean? First of all, someone probably comes to him as a Packers source saying, we've got a team that is waiting in the wings, and it's the 49ers. Again, the 49ers wouldn't be subject of these rumors if they had a franchise quarterback. So what do? They give it to Craig Carton to talk about. Carton spews it real loud and proud because this is the first scoop he's ever had because he's never broken anything for the Jets, never broken anything for the Giants. He's not connected to anybody. Don't want to get into his personal life, but he wasn't around in public a few years ago. Also, I'll let you look into that on your own. But for me, this is exactly that. The Packers trying to get the Jets to panic, trying to get Joe Douglas to listen to the radio and say, oh, my God, I need to up this offer. And let me ask you this, Andrew Pasquini. If the San Francisco 49ers were offering a first and a bunch of thirds, which blows away whatever it is that the Jets want to offer, why on earth haven't the Packers run to the commissioner and sent the deal over?
Mhm.
None of this is true. It's not happening. And they're using Craig Carlton as a way to try to make the Jets panic. This is perfect, classic media tactics being played with the guy who is foaming at the mouth to draw ratings to his show. And for the first time, he has some sort of scoop. I would be more inclined if Boomer Esiason said something. I would be more inclined if someone else who was much more tied to that team and has a track record of breaking things. The Packers tried to use him. It didn't work. And I swear to God, if the 49ers were putting a first and a bunch of thirds, which far exceeds what the Jets were, then the Packers are even dumber than I thought for not accepting. That's how you know it's not real.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. I needed that conversation because I knew it wasn't real. I like it really comes down to the Niners are literally the only Super Bowl contender without a quarterback. And Jason has said this, and that's what it is they are the easiest team. Oh, Jets, you don't want to improve your team. Oh, well, I know a team that's really good that doesn't have a quarterback right now. We can make that happen. And it's that. So, yes, it's one of those things I so badly want to have happen. And I'm going to keep tweeting it until it doesn't happen because that's what I do. I'm committed to the bits until they're dead. I still holding out hope for Jameis Winston, but that's neither here nor there. It's just the easiest thing to do right now. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's, there's quarterback issue. Niners are interested. Right. They're probably interested, right? And
Andrew,
I mean, what point do we get where the Lamar rumors start becoming more apparent?
Andrew, that's the thing is you can talk about Lamar going to the Falcons and being rebuilding because he's younger. Aaron Rodgers isn't going somewhere to rebuild. That's why he's a part of these rumors with the Jets. And what other team would need somebody just like that? It would be the 49ers, content creators of all kinds, radio hosts, media people. Organizations know that if I want to push that I have another suitor, I just say the 49ers and everyone's going to believe it because, unfortunately, no matter how optimistic you are that Brock Purdy's going to be ready, and I think we all believe that he will be, he's just not right now, and it's not a certainty. You still have to check boxes. So, yeah, as long as the 49ers don't have a franchise quarterback who's able, ready to go, they are going to be the team that everyone floats out there as the team that has rumor potential with other quarterbacks. And I think it's annoying because we still don't have our guy, and we haven't since Steve Young. And I for one, Andrew Pasquini, look at what God has done. Look at what God has done for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles. And I want that. I want that. Can I have a guy, please? Please, can we have the guy? Not a guy that you think is going to be the guy that on April 10th of every single year, we go into the offseason and we say, this is our guy, and we're good with that. And we have no issues. We haven't been flirting with Andy Dalton. We haven't moved up to pick 3 to get somebody else. Where is our guy? I want our guy. And as long as we don't have that, you're going to hear these rumors. That's the biggest problem with all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as I said, I've said it plenty of times, said it in this episode earlier, it's not that Trey Lance or Brock Purdy can't be our guy. They fully can. We don't know it. It's just, God, it would feel so much better in this situation if you knew you had something, because the Niners aren't I'm going to say the Giants. I'm going to use that team because you mentioned them a lot already. It's not like the Daniel Jones situation, or not the Daniel Jones. It's not like the Niners or the Giants and are a fringe team. This is a team that's legitimately a quarterback away from not being Super Bowl contenders, because they're already Super Bowl contenders, from likely Super Bowl champions, right? And that's where I'm at. I love JKBG. I love that. I love Klars. Got to report BS in case it does happen. Whoever reported gets clout. I'm starting to see that's how the media gets credibility. Yeah, and it's just the easiest connections, and I'm about to do it. I'm about to do the same thing. JKBG, we love you. Great to have you guys back. I ran out of the store saying I got to get back home for some sloppy toppy. The lady next to me thought I was talking about my wife. I said, hell no, 2 bearded dudes. We love you, JKBG, and I hope you enjoy that sloppy toppy.
The GOAT.
The goat. So can I pull a little bit of a Craig Carton and connect some
breaking
dots?
news? Breaking news?
Not breaking news, because I really want to just say it, because I kind of tweeted it. I used your favorite wind horse meme, Jason Aponte, and I kind of threw it out there. I think there might be some smoke to McCorkle Jones to the Niners. Okay. And this is me connecting dots that aren't there. This is 100% an Andrew Pasquini speculation. Andrew Pasquini will never pretend to say he has sources because he does not. I just think it's very funny and very interesting that the Niners have been tied to all these quarterbacks, all of these quarterbacks. None who have really been said they're available outside of Aaron Rodgers, but he's committed to the Jets. So he's gone. Lamar Jackson, I see the connection. I see why people want him. I don't think there's a real connection there yet. Has there been a thing tying directly the Niners to Jackson yet?
Nothing other than the entire league shaking in their boots that Lamar Jackson will get there.
Okay. So Kirk Cousins too. There's really no reason to talk about him being moved right now. So the Niners are tied to all these quarterbacks except one. And the one who may or may not be available because him and Bill Belichick aren't getting along well in New England. And yes, I know what you're saying. I know they hired I forget his name, the OC down in Alabama. Bill O'Brien. They hired him, so there's a connection there. I think it's going to help a ton that he has an offensive coordinator as an offensive coordinator this year. As much as I stand Matt Patricia, I don't think he works as an OC very well. I think we saw that last year, but I don't know. I just think it's very suspicious. It's suspicious that going into the 2020 draft, the 2021 NFL draft, it was, well, Kyle Shanahan is very besmitten by McCorkle Jones that the Niners might take him at 3. And now that he's allegedly available for trade, there's nothing there. And again, the other side of this is the Niners are allegedly a team that do not leak. I know they have some records of leaking, but it's also a team. I think I could flip side it and say we didn't know Joe Staley was retiring until they got Trent Williams, right? So maybe they don't leak. I'm just trying to connect dots that are not there. I don't want this to happen, Jason. This is how my brain works. I am putting it at a 95% chance that it is a Niners quarterback on the roster is the starting quarterback week 1, right this second, 5% not. I just think there is such a non-connection to McCorkle Jones to the 49ers right now that it is such a thick connection for McCorkle Jones to the 49ers. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Because we're talking rumors of 49ers and quarterbacks. I wanted to throw the one that I feel like has been very loud on my brain recently.
First of all, I want to say I appreciate the time that you put into this.
Thank
I really
you.
have, because this is
this is what you say before you shoot so many holes into this theory, and I'm very excited. I am so excited for it. Just like the Aaron Rodgers thing, I need you to tell me why I'm wrong.
So the 2 quarterbacks that we named just before this are much more expensive than Mac Jones. But the other thing that they are fucking markedly better. And that's the thing. Is okay. So we literally just talked about, right?
That's fair.
We literally just talked about, right? Like, as long as the 49ers don't have a franchise quarterback, right?
Yes.
In no way does getting Mac Jones make me feel like we have done nothing but prolong this process and kick the can further down the road in any way. It's weird to me that all of this stuff is happening based on the idea that Bill Belichick is kind of showing you, I don't care where we drafted you, nobody goes against the family. And that's a Godfather reference. You don't go against the family, right? I understand you have a problem with Matt Patricia, who's a defensive guy, being your offensive coordinator. Fair. You have a problem with Joe Judge being a special teams guy, being your quarterback's coach. Fair. But you know who didn't have a problem with that? Bailey Zappi. And I think it was Albert Breer that was writing about this and about why. You don't act like this. That's not the Patriot way. You know, you can only act like that if you're Tom Brady after you've won 4 Super Bowls and Bill Belichick's not looking at you. But you don't act this way, and now Bill Belichick is like, oh, well, we're shopping him. Okay, good luck, man. Again, we're talking about franchise quarterbacks here. Would Mac Jones be there to now turn away this franchise quarterback narrative? No, I don't think so. Aaron Rodgers would be a 1-year rental, and you better hope you win the Super Bowl in that year, because he's just gonna say, I'm going home, man. I'm gonna go take my hallucinogens, and I'm just gonna go live in the woods. Yeah, I'm gonna go live in the woods, right? That's one thing. Kirk, he's gonna be around for a little bit longer. But the 2 things that those quarterbacks have in common is that they're markedly better than Mac Jones. This one really feels like a nothing burger. and the biggest nothing burger. Like it's about this big.
Okay.
I'm good on this one. I don't think anything happens, and I don't think Bill O'Brien took this job saying, "Well, oh, I got Bailey Zappi. I'm good." I think Bill O'Brien, who was at Bama when Mac was there, is saying, "Let me get my hands on him. We'll fix him. He's been in the building." So this one, I feel, is just out of the way right now at this point. Let me put your mind at ease, Andrew Pasquini and 49ers fans. Not gonna happen.
Okay, good. The thing is the silence is almost deafening. That's all. The Niners have been tied to every quarterback under the sun the past few years, except for McCorkle Jones when he's allegedly available. So that I just want to throw that out there.
I want to take this comment real quick from Steve-O. Do you think Trey put the Spiral video out for an audition and wants out? Weird, the next day, rumor of second and fourth round picks came out. They did name him interim starter. Steve-O, real quick, before we get into the video, which I love, I have thoughts on, and I think is much bigger than just some hype video that you're putting out there. This rumor of second and fourth round picks came from nowhere and nobody. That account is nobody. That is not something that needs to be talked about because it's not worth talking about. The discussion that's being had around this is now, well, what could the 49ers get if they were looking to trade him? And
maybe
I think that's
second in Mac Jones.
Oh, Christ, man. No. My thing is
I'm joking. Sorry.
No, really, my thing is this. That second and fourth round pick, let's throw that out because it was thrown out by a nobody account. That's not someone that, trust me, if there was rumors of a second and fourth round pick, it's not going to be a random Twitter account with 172 followers that's throwing that out there. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Albert Breer, any of those guys would have been all over that. Tom Pelissero, somebody would have been on that. But back to the video. There's a few things. That was a beautiful ball. 49er fans should be excited. Does it mean that Trey Lance is taking that leap? No. But you still should be excited. I think the biggest thing I took away from this video, Andrew, and I'll pass it to you. Who are you working out with? Trey Lance. You're working out with Patrick Mahomes. What are you doing? You're picking his brain. You're asking him questions. You're watching how he goes about his business. I love that. And famously, Patrick Mahomes talked about, I don't know how to read defenses until the third year. That's insane and scary to think about. It kind of tells you that you're never stopped developing. And I love the idea of him being with him. You know, there's an old saying, you are the company that you keep. Well, I, myself, when it comes to content creation and trying to learn about football, I try to surround myself with smarter people so I can learn, right? When I have a question, I ask Brett. When I have a question, I ask Rich. When I have a question, I reach out to people on Twitter that I know. I want to learn. And that's what I was excited about, that Trey Lance is working out with him. Is his magic going to rub off him? No. But picking his brain and understanding some of the things that go on in the pocket, I love that more than I do the spiral, Andrew. Call me crazy.
No, I'm 110% because I'm a little more cynical when these videos come out. It is cool to see him. It's excited to see him throw and all of that. But this is one throw of how many he made, right? We don't know the whole thing. We just have a puzzle piece. We don't know how big the puzzle is. We just have the one puzzle piece. I 1,000% agree with you, though, on I think the Mahomes influence is way more important than that one video of that one throw because of how much the quarterback position is mental. And I like as much as Mahomes can teach you in terms of mechanics and the physicality and stuff, a lot of what makes Mahomes is improv. What you can do when, hey, it's not structured. Hey, what can I do? Unless Patrick Mahomes is training him how to throw the ball like completely parallel to the ground, that stuff is cool. It's fine. It works. It's the mental aspect and the idea of Mahomes not knowing how to read an NFL defense until year 3, things like that. That's what I want to hear from I almost called him Kyler Murray, Trey Lance. Right. Obviously, I almost called him Kyle Shanahan too, but that was weird. But Trey Lance. So that's what I want. That's what I want to see. So yes, the video, very exciting, very cool. One throw, great. What's he learning between the ears from Patrick Mahomes? That's what's going to be the key.
Right. And I think this is really what Steve-O was talking about, basically asking if Trey did it to audition and wants out. He's seen what they did to Jimmy. I don't think he's auditioning. I don't think one throw can tell you where his development is. It's a pretty throw. It had no wobble. It looked beautiful. It was in HD. He looks great. He was wearing a hat which is a big contention right now across 49ers Twitter about Trey Lance. Steve-O, I just don't think that you can convey whatever leaps you've taken with one throw. Hype videos are designed to do exactly that, hype people up. I don't think we're going to understand where he's at until you actually get in the training camp. And the only way the 49ers trade Trey Lance at the draft before they get to training camp is they have a doctor who has come to them and said, Brock Purdy's arm has healed like the rookie of the year. And there is no doubt that he will be ready for training camp week 1, no questions asked. Because how on earth do you justify trading Trey Lance and just sticking with Sam Darnold while you have to wait for Brock Purdy to get healthy again? This is the part that nobody seems to be talking. Dead cap is one thing. $11 million dead cap, that's hard to stomach. That's hard to stomach. And then you get into the fact that there's only optimism around Brock Purdy being ready. There's no definitives. There's no definites. So why on earth would you take a chance and trade a kid who possibly could take that leap and you invested so much in, and then all of a sudden just say, well, we think he's going to be ready, so it's okay, we'll take that chance. I just don't get that part of it. That's the part that baffles me.
Yeah, and two, it's the only way Trey Lance is getting traded is if it's to the Titans after an Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins trade, and I don't think that's happening, right? That's they're not trading Trey Lance.
That's the only way Trey Lance gets traded. Like if somehow Aaron Rodgers was on this team and they found a way to make the money work, even though they have like $3 million in dead cap, I don't know, like whatever we're talking about. Yeah. And that's the way that you do it because he would be ready to play. But I mean, you can't trade Trey Lance while you just have optimism that Brock Purdy will be ready. And that's the part. Again, if Brock Purdy, let's say we lived in a world where the 49ers unfortunately lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, but Brock Purdy didn't tear his UCL, and he played very well in that game. And unfortunately, it was just the Eagles' day. But he was ready to go day one. Yep. I could see a draft day trade for Trey Lance way easier than I would now with the uncertainty of his recovery. And that's the part where everybody's just like, well, they got to be seeking something draft day. Why? Because you believe that you can squeeze what you got out of Sam Darnold in 6 games while you had 49 games of him being largely terrible in this league, because you believe that Brock Purdy, if the 49ers haven't learned about certainties, making sure you have your plan A, B, and C backup plan, which John Lynch talked about at the Combine, then they're dumber than we think. And for me, it's more about you need as many able-bodied quarterbacks as you can have at this point. I don't understand this thought process of trying to ship off Trey Lance before you realize where Brock Purdy's going to be with health. He can be as optimistic as the day is. I'm optimistic as hell every single day. I think my team's going to win every single game. They don't. Unfortunately, things don't go well. We don't live in a perfect world. Why would you move this guy before you get a definite timetable? That's my question to you, Andrew.
Yeah, I know, and also too, I want to touch on the final thing on that comment as well, of the idea that he's posting it for trade positioning and all that. I do want to remind you, and it's not an attack on you at all. It's just more so it is that time of year where the NFL players are posting their workout videos. It's absolutely that time of year. It's the time of year where I don't follow players on Instagram, but boy, oh boy, do I see all their Instagram stories screenshotted on Twitter, right? Like it's that time of year of guys lifting weights, posting it on socials and all that stuff. So I wouldn't read too deeply into that. And then, the idea of the Niners trading Trey Lance, I think is not a good idea. Because Jason, you're absolutely right. Sam Darnold is Harold. Yeah, the Niners need 5 quarterbacks given the injury history. Yeah, sure. That's absolutely true as well.
We just watched the season where they lost 4 quarterbacks to injuries, and we're just shipping the other one off while there's someone else that's not like, come on.
Yeah, no, the only way Lance is traded before the draft or even around the draft is if a number 12 is showing up. And that's really, because I even think, F it. You trade for Kirk Cousins, maybe use him as a rental 1 year, see if he actually is what you think, and then if he doesn't work out, let him go after next season, whatever it may be. But I don't think you trade Trey Lance for any reasons unless you have a quarterback who will win you a Super Bowl.
And also, all right, Andrew, I'm going to pose this to you. I'm going to flip this. Now I'm going to become the host, and I'm going to flip this question onto you. Trey Lance has 5 games of NFL experience, what are you likely to fetch from Trey Lance? For Trey Lance? Nothing? A third
I
round
think,
pick? A
yeah,
third round pick?
I think best case is a second round pick.
So
Like,
the question I would ask to you, Andrew Pasquini, is you just taking whatever you can get for a kid who hasn't had a chance to play and still has the potential to reach this ceiling with all the tools and everything else that we loved about this kid? Is that worth it? Just to say, well, we got something for him. I understand sunk cost fallacy. I understand, cutting the rope when it's time to cut. I understand all that. In this case, you have a kid who sat for a year, rightfully so, right? I think we can say that. Jimmy Garoppolo made it to the NFC Championship game. Unfortunately, got injured in, second game of the season and doesn't have much time. Is it worth just taking a third round, fifth round pick, whatever it is that you get for him? Because I wouldn't imagine that people are lining up to give you a first round pick for Trey Lance when they don't know what he is either. Nope. And then watching Trey Lance go somewhere else and see that talent be realized. Are you willing to make that risk for such a mid-level pick? I'm not.
Yeah. If I'm trading Trey Lance, if I'm the Niners, if I'm John Lynch, and I'm not, thank God I'm not. That seems like a stressful as hell job.
Oh, yeah.
The asking price is a 1. I'm trying to recoup what I gave up, right? And obviously you can't fully recoup what you gave up because you gave 2 first-round picks and a pick swap, right? So you can't fully recoup it. So you're just trying to recoup the pick you want. Ideally shooting for a second-round pick, but anything that isn't a second-round pick, I'm not even not even 2/3. I'm not entertaining it. The only way you settle for a Trey Lance trade is, as I said, the asterisks I keep throwing out there is if you get an Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, no, there is no trade I don't think you can realistically get unless you get a team just really desperate to solve quarterback. Like maybe Tennessee's the one that feels Cartwright's there, all that fun stuff. Or Carthon, sorry. That makes sense. That's the one place I think it would happen at. But until the Niners have a guaranteed answer, you don't trade Trey Lance unless you get a first.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop. And I don't think any team's giving up a first.
No, and they shouldn't. I mean, why should they at this point? So again, I think Blake's asking a good question. When is trade value highest during the offseason? Well, first of all, let's get this young man cleared.
Yeah.
Let's also get him cleared because workout videos are cool and all, but let's get him cleared. Let's get his ankle cleared. So let's get that done first. Again, man, I just don't see the scenario where this works, especially when the reason that you're able to spend on Hargrave, the reason that you're able to have all these high blue chip players at all these positions is because your quarterback room is so cheap. So imagine taking on a dead cap hit for a third round pick that you're going to eventually have to pay.
And actually, I think I saw a thing too, really quick on that cap hit thing is Brock Purdy's the 52nd highest paid Niner right now.
He's not even a cap hit for the team.
Which means he's not even a cap hit because it's the top 51. So that's like it's absolute Jason. Like the rumor of the second and fourth, it might as well have come from at NFL Rooms because that just account is what it is. But that asking price just doesn't feel right. The only thing the Niners can sell teams on is the idea of Trey Lance, which is why I don't think you could get anywhere near a first or second round pick for him. And therefore, again, unless you have Aaron Rodgers, you're not trading Trey Lance. And then I think that should just be it.
Well, all right. This is the last thing I'll say about the 3 quarterbacks. All 3 quarterbacks are being judged in the court of public opinion on sample sizes.
Yeah.
Let me explain. 8 games for Brock Purdy, 4 games for Trey Lance, 6 games out of 55 for Sam Darnold, and yet somehow, I would actually like to see what Sam Darnold does with this coaching and these weapons, but it's never. I'd like to see what Trey Lance does with these coaching and weapons, and it's the weirdest thing. So after 6 games in Carolina, you are so much more confident in Sam Darnold, even though he's given you 49 starts of average, mediocre to straight up horrific quarterback play. Straight up horrific. Like, I'm not even talking about like, oh, it was okay. No, horrific at points, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't beat out Baker Mayfield either.
Nope.
But yet, Sam's got this, man. He's going to beat the kid. Why?
Never know.
No, right now, your sample size argument, the sample size that you bring up and what you use is now pointing out your bias. If you want Brock Purdy to start, say that. If you want Sam Darnold to start, say that. But don't point to sample sizes in which there's a larger amount of a sample size of a guy being bad because of a few nice throws. And there's a sample size of where Trey was inconsistent at times, but never really got a chance to get the wind under his feet. And then there's Brock, who played exceptionally well with his, but we've kind of seen that story in the NFL, not just with the 49ers. Yeah. We've seen that in the NFL, in which there's a sample size and people get overboard and, oh my God, he's the next this guy. Have you seen this play? And you still need a little bit more. So what am I saying? With Trey Lance and with Brock Purdy, all we need to be doing is gathering information right now. I think I have enough information on Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. Yeah. When it's 55 games, I've got enough. I've got enough. I don't need more. I need less of Sam Darnold. I need more of Trey Lance and Brock Purdy before we fit either of them for gold jackets, before they're the franchise quarterback, any of those things. That is my problem with this whole discussion.
Yeah. Gammon, Trey starting week 1 is boosting trade value. He also followed up with sarcasm. But Gammon, I don't want to completely take this point seriously because I know you're being sarcastic, but it could be. It could be if the Niners are saying, hey, he's the week 1 starter. We are so confident in Trey Lance right this second. We are telling you he's our week 1 starter. You go tell that to other teams, maybe a team saying, ooh, Niners are excited. Yeah, so yeah, I know you're being sarcastic, but hey, that is something they could use as a boosting trade value type thing. Jay said, a lot of quarterback talk today. I'm going to ask you my traditional draft time question because we are coming up on the draft. Just really quick. We'll dive into the draft a little bit, maybe next week, a little closer to the draft. But I told you I was going to ask you this.
I'm going.
You think you're going?
Yeah, I think I'm going.
Oh, I love it. Get some barbecue for that. I love it.
Yeah.
But Jason Aponte, what position are the Niners taking with their first pick?
So I've been reviewing on Niners Nation a bunch of mock drafts, and a lot of them have offensive line. And I think that's fine, right? With right tackle, there seems to be an answer, but that doesn't mean it's the answer. I do think that this year's line is much more equipped or gives me much more confidence than last year's line. Remember, all we talked about is, oh my God, the interior offensive line, we don't know from guard to guard all the way through what's going to be happening. Now we just don't know right tackle. And I think that's at least progress at this point, right? But everybody has been kind of sitting around at 99 and thinking that Blake Freeland sits around at 99. And I think it was the last 3 mocks that I've done, and I've taken a look at and evaluated. Blake Freeland seems to be the guy. And hold on to your hats, 49ers fans. I'm going to describe Blake Freeland real quick, and I want you to tell me what that sounds like. Very tall, very good in the run game, very athletic getting to the second level. Sometimes there's a problem with pad level. Needs a little bit of help in pass protection. Sounds a little bit like someone that we used to know. But here's the thing. At pick 99, instead of pick 9, you should be much more willing to take that leap and think that can happen. Because when you look at the given investment, pick 9 with a guy that you hope can develop in pass pro and it doesn't happen, doesn't feel as bad at pick 99. But yes, Blake Freeland seems to be the first one. Who do I think they should be going for? Edge. But who's the edge? Who's the edge? And I think if there's the edge that I really feel is a difference maker, because there's a lot of guys that are very good, they've got to move up and get one. You've got to find a way to get one. Jordan Elliott wrote a great article on Niners Nation about Harrison from OSU. I got a chance to watch a little bit of him once I did one of the mock drafts and he was the pick. He's not going to be around at 99. It's a 5-star recruit that has flashy tape. He just needs to be more consistent. That's the guy that I would say that you need to move up for. And shout out to him, man, because he did a way better job than I did. I just wrote down some words. He wrote a whole article. But yeah, it's got to be edge at this point, right? Because the offensive tackle, all of those things can be addressed later on. You have Feliciano, you have Burford, who could possibly kick out I think at right tackle as well, too, has the skill set to do that. You can put a Band-Aid on this one more year, which is what the 49ers seem to do. But it's got to be edge, man. It's got to be edge. And one more secondary question I have, cornerback, man. Cornerback. Okay. And what I mean by that is when you look at the starting corners, you feel good. Mooney and Lenore, I feel good, especially with the way that Lenore played down the stretch. What if one of those guys gets injured? Yeah. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Ambry Thomas, Samuel Womack, when he had to play outside in Atlanta, didn't exactly look good. Oh, dear. And when you guys come to me and you say, oh, well, you're just hating on Ambry, well, look at what the team said. The team literally used every single option they could at corner except Ambry Thomas. So they're losing confidence in him as well. So I would say outside cornerback is somewhere that I would really, really be looking at. I wish Eli Ricks would stick around at 99, 101. I like Trevius Hodges Tomlinson, who is LaDainian Tomlinson's nephew. I think he's great as well, too. And Sidney Brown is somebody at safety I think is really good, too. So you can tell I've done a little bit more draft research this year than I have in previous years. But we've got to dig deep now because we're in the third round. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling pretty good about my third round draft knowledge.
Andrew,
yeah, man, I don't even read those.
Oh, I got cooked today, and I didn't do anything.
Dude, I care about what other people say about me too much, and I get such bad anxiety when I even think about going through those comments.
Real quick, Andrew, I just did the 4-round mock at NFL.com.
Yes.
Okay. So they took Blake Freeland at 99, and they took the edge. God, what's his name? An edge with long arms. I forget his name. I'm blanking out right now. And I said at the end of it, you know, and they took a guard with 101, and I said this one doesn't make any sense for me, especially because I when I watched him, I feel like he needs a bunch of development. And I said, pick 99 and pick 102 are the prototypical things that the 49ers look for. And literally the first comment, I can't believe this guy said this is prototypical. What a moron. I'm just like, God, I was like, I get cooked for like the most obvious things. Like, this is literally the true fact right there in front of you that I'm talking about. And people are just so angry in those comments. Gavin Brown knows exactly what we're talking about because you go and you look in those comments and I could say 2 + 2 is 4. And they're like, God, what an idiot, man. It's 5, obviously.
No. Blake Freeland, Sidney Sow, and KJ Henry were the 3 picks.
Sidney
Sow. Readers.
No
draft.
Sow. No Sow. No way. Absolutely not. A developmental guy from Eastern Michigan at guard? No.
And it's not even a need at this. It's not a starter. I think the Niners are looking for somebody who's going to be a starter at this pick, and I think they're going to address it. And that's why I think, Jason, because I think you're absolutely correct on Freeland. I've seen him come up in so many Niner mock drafts that I'm convinced he's the pick at 99. I think, though, in my brain, I think they're going safety. And I know I keep talking Jamie Robinson, but there's J.L. Skinner, there's J.R. Brown, Daniel Scott, names I've seen drafted at 3 in the third round for the Niners. What?
Sidney Brown from Illinois too, man. I like him
Sidney Brown as well. I've seen a lot of names taken at safety for the Niners at 3. And it just makes sense to me because you don't know how long to Sean Gibson. Thank you, Steve-O. Appreciate it. I love Sammy's.
I didn't mean to put that up either.
Oh, no, you're good. It's you don't know how long you have to Sean Gibson. There was already talks about retirement. So I think they might want to look and have that long-term solution ready for next to Talanoa Hufanga at this draft and have a guy who kind of sits in the wings for a year, maybe rotates in with to Sean Gibson. So I'm thinking they're going safety if they don't trade out of 99. I really wanted to say running back just to have fun with it because I think the closer we get to the draft, the more convinced I am they're taking a running back with one of these 3 picks. I don't know why. I just think it's going to happen because the memes, Jason. It's the memes at this point. But I think with the 99th pick, the Niners are going with a safety.
I will be physically ill if the 49ers select a running back.
Oof. Jason Aponte is going to quit podcasting when the Niners trade for Mac Jones and then follow up with drafting a running back.
I'm done.
And then,
I'm done, guys.
And then the kicker, Jason might just end it if they go Jake Moody in the 5th.
I'm done, guys. I'll cut off all this stuff. I won't write anymore. I'll just sit there and I'll be fans with you guys. I'll at players and curse them out. I'll just be fans with you guys, man. I will.
Jake Haener with 99 chaos. Paul says there's another good one. Just take all the mission guys: Schoonmaker, Haener, Moody. There you go. That's all you need. Harbaugh guys.
Schoonmaker, no. Shoemaker is 32 years old, man. He's not breaking out, bro. Like, it's not happening. My goodness, man. I can't take that name anymore. And Hayner actually did attend the 49ers Pro Day. For me, if we're doing tight ends, and we should do this on the Sprint Right Option podcast, I've been diving deep on tight ends. Zach Kuntz is not in their range anymore, even though they've been visiting with him. You know, Sam Laporta, he's for the streets. I'm sorry. And he's a baller, man. I wish. He's for the streets. Will Mallory, please, guys, please. I don't want to hear about he can't block. I don't want to hear about you need to do both, because then you can't explain Ross Dwelly or Charlie Warner to me on this team, because one can do one, the other can do the other, but neither can do both. Give me a guy who can actually be a threat up the field while maybe taking a peek up down the future, because George Kittle is so good, but he also does play a physical style of football that unfortunately may hamper him on the floor, which I don't want to see. But at the same time, God, imagine, you all right?
Keep knocking shit over. It's bad day.
Imagine Debo, Ayuk, Mallory, Kittle, McCaffrey, all on the same field, and you trying to guard that. Everybody wants two tight ends, but everybody always gives me pushback when I talk about Will Mallory. Well, he doesn't block. Well, explain Ross Dwelly and explain Charlie Warner, because he can't catch. At this point, cause as many matchup problems as you can for whoever the quarterback is, whether that's Darnold, Lance, or Purdy. Please cause more matchup problems, and that play design is going to come through. Will Mallory, number 85. Congratulations. In Jason's mock drafts and in his heart, you are a San Francisco 49er, pal.
And Jake Moody, hopefully. I do.
No.
I cannot think of anything more exciting for the Sprint Right Option podcast than us sitting at the Niners practice facility for camp. Jason's watching what Trey Lance is doing, but I'm looking at that far field. I'm watching the Zane Gonzalez, Jake Moody, taking notes, charting all the kicks. I need John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan. If you are watching, I will be the one to personally cover the inevitable Jake Moody, Zane Gonzalez kicker competition. You give me that credential, I will be there to cover it.
Andrew, you've been to practice, though. You've been to practice, and this only reinforces. Look, I don't want to be this kicker guy anymore. Please, I just want to shed this already. I'm just tired of it. They don't do anything in practice. It's the kicker, the punter, and the long snapper, and they walk around. They never kick. They don't do anything at training camp.
I want to know who gets deeper thigh stretches, Zane Gonzalez or Jake Moody. God damn it! Okay,
how are we supposed to? All right? So here's the thing. Let me ask you this, Andrew. How is this kicker competition? Because the kicker competition isn't going to be judged in practice. They don't have practice time for them because they have actual football players who need to play. So how is this? It's just going to be in the preseason. You kick one, I kick one, you kick one, I kick one. It's not going to happen in training camp because they never have a special team segment for that. They have to evaluate the actual football players.
What if Kyle Shanahan gets a copy of Madden NFL 24, creates Zane Gonzalez and Jake Moody kicking contest through Madden? That could be a way to solve it. Flip a coin. How about this? You ready for this? Flip a coin, Jason Aponte. Winner of the coin flip is the Niners kicker. Tails is the fourth tight end to block the edge rusher.
Can I flip a coin where I don't ever have to talk about this ever again? Man?
No, we don't have to. I just want to get the stigma of Jason Aponte hates kickers away from the podcast. And just get it that like Andrew is such a pro kicker guy that we're just here for it. And we love the energy. Let's just do that. We'll get the attention off of your hate for kickers and make it about my love. Can I get Andrew's thoughts on WrestleMania?
Sounds like After Dark. And I'm gonna put on Raw as well too. Sounds like After Dark.
Yeah,
okay. Put on Raw.
We'll go quick after dark because I got to run to Costco.
Are you gonna get lunch there?
The Dodgers. No, we gotta pick up a prescription.
What time does the Giants and Dodgers play?
6:45.
All right.
Giants Dodgers.
So let's do this real quick. Then.
Really? Yeah, dude. I thought it was fun. It was a fun weekend of wrestling. I thought Saturday was better than Sunday.
The main event let it down.
George Kittle's cameo was pretty cool. I think where's Ramilia Sports? I think it's pretty embarrassing that the Super or the WrestleManias in Los Angeles, and they got to use a Niners player as the dude.
Damn. Cam Akers can't hit anybody because he's gonna get injured. My boy's cooking.
They're using Niners players in LA. Is there nobody to market in LA? That's weird. The main event I was very confused with. At some point, just finish the damn story. Cody Rhodes should be WWE. I don't like Cody Rhodes. Let's be honest. I am all about my tribal chief. I got over what he did to Sami Zayn last month, so we're good with it. I didn't like the main event whatsoever. I thought it was a good match. The best match of the weekend, if you're going to get one match to watch from WrestleMania, and I tweeted it, meaty men slapping meat. It was Sheamus, it was Gunther, it was Drew McIntyre, just a lot of meat slapping going on in that match.
I think the biggest loser of WrestleMania is The Miz.
Oh, yeah. So
The Miz is the Shane O'Mac match at this point, and Shane O'Mac, unfortunately, must be a 49er because he tore his ACL.
No, he actually tore his quad, which is very interesting because I don't know if you know this. Is really we'll get out of here soon. Royal Rumble like 10 years ago, Batista versus John Cena. Batista was supposed to win, but they did a thing where they both went over the top rope at the same time on accident. Both their feet hit the ground at the same time, and nobody knows what to do because that wasn't the script. So Vince comes down to the ring, all grumpy, doing his Vince.
Started again.
Tries to slide into the ring, and as he jumps into the ring, both his quads tear. And so he tries to get up, stumbles on the ground, and he's sitting on the ground just doing the Vince face, but he can't stand up because both his quads are out, and so they restart the match. So it's very funny that Shane McMahon tore his quad in almost the same way that Vince McMahon tore his quad. But continue.
So Shane O'Mac comes out, and I fucks with Shane O'Mac because he wears Jordans and everything. Like, I really do. And he tears something, and then The Miz gets rolled on by Snoop. Who, look, man, love you, Snoop. Love you, buddy. But you gotta work on that in-ring bravado. Bouncing off the ropes wasn't exactly smooth. That people's elbow needs to be polished. I understand it was on the spot, but tough week for The Miz, man. George Kittle rolls on him. You get whipped by Snoop Dogg.
Pat McAfee too.
Pat McAfee rolls on you. So you go on this tirades about I would draft Zach Ertz over George Kittle. I'll never listen to Snoop's music. I'll never watch. Tough day to be The Miz. Tough day to be The Miz. Yeah.
Rhea Ripley won women's champion. That was pretty cool. Mommy, we love that. Snoop Dogg should never take the sunglasses off again, by the way, because he looks young and then he takes off the glasses and his eyes look old. I don't know what that means, but he took off the sunglasses and man, he looked rough. I love you, Snoop. I love you. Keep it up. But last thing before we get out of here, the Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the Giants last week, and that's it. That's okay. That's fine. Hey, it's week. It's the first weekend of baseball. It's exciting. I was happy he was back.
Yeah, forget all that. Avery had a blast in Florida. Disney was a little tough on her. She's not exactly a big Disney person, but she only had one meltdown. But she was really good, man, and she enjoyed her time. She's a big swimmer. I watched opening day like a responsible father. Her in a floaty in the pool, floating back and forth, and and me on the iPad watching the New York Yankees. So, but Avery had a great time. First time that we've traveled with her. Did great on the plane. Love that for her. So more vacations for my my young lady. I'm so happy for her.
Love that so much. Jason Aponte, Dad of the Year award. We love it. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm very happy you had a good time. Yeah, man, it's been a minute. I'm excited. We're back. We're going to have a big draft episode, I feel. The draft is coming up in about 2.5 weeks. We'll have
the draft.
Jason Aponte will be from the draft. I will not. That's okay. I don't know if I told you this, but May I'm in the Philippines for 2 weeks. So
big
throwing that one out there. Big baller. Yes, it's called My Girlfriend. It's very we love her. But yeah, man, that's really it for today. I don't know how else I'm going to end. Oh yeah, the best thing to happen in wrestling last week with WrestleMania was the Guns coming out to Mini Men by 50 Cent. We loved it.
That was so good. So good. That was very good. Also, by the way, John Wick 4, absolutely electric.
Love it.
Absolute cinema, peak cinema.
I meant to. Speaking of peak cinema, I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Good.
Boy, oh boy, what a movie is that!
Wow. Okay.
You should watch that. And then I also watched Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
Was it
That's let's just say it bends the truth quite a bit. Quite a bit. But it's very fun. It's very fun. Daniel Radcliffe is very good as Weird Al. So I was into it. Paul says go see Air. That's on the list.
I definitely want to see that.
So yeah, man. Jason Aponte.
Air and Mario.
That's
next.
I dude. Oh, we're gonna go gobble you gobble you ghoul you Italy you gobble you ghoul. Yeah, we love Mario here. I like this new thing we're doing. We're just talking movies at the end of the podcast. I love it. Calm it down. It's stressful times in 49ers Twitter. As always, Jason Aponte though.
Let's go Niners. It's good to be back.
Let's go Niners. Love you, Winter.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.